To make my fall painting, I first have to remember how to hold a paintbrush. So I'm looking at my paintbrush, and where I see these two bumps, that shows me where I have to grip it. Secondly, I always make sure to hold my paintbrush straight up and down. And if you remember, we like to hold our paintbrush like a ballerina. That means it's always on its tiptoes. It should never be flat against the paper like this. This way, if we keep it up on its tiptoes, it makes nice, smooth, even lines. So first I'm going to start with making the outline of my tree. So I dip my brush in the paint so that only the bristles have paint on it. This silver part, the heel of the brush, should never have paint on it. If you have paint up here, it means you use too much paint. The first thing I'm going to do is start by making my tree trunk. So I'm going to lift up my paper a little bit because I don't want to get paint on the table. And I'm going to pull my paintbrush towards me, making sure to hold it like a ballerina. And I'm going to make it a few fingers wide. I have 2 fingers here, maybe you want to make 3 fingers. And that's going to be the base of my trunk, so that's going to be the widest part. And then I'm going to re-dip my paintbrush in anytime that I see that it's running out of paint. And then I'm going to hold it correctly and very carefully and slowly pull my paintbrush up to make smooth, straight lines. So I'm pulling it up like this. And then once I get about this high, where I have these nice smooth lines like this, then I'm going to start to make a Y. So if you remember, a Y goes in 2 different directions. So I'm going to dip my paintbrush back in, and my first line, holding my paintbrush correctly, is going to go this way. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same thing going this way. So it looks a little bit like the letter Y. And then once I'm here, I'm going to keep making a few Ys to make it look a little bit like a tree. So maybe now I have a line that comes up here and a line that goes this way, so that if you look at it this way, it looks like a Y. And I'm going to do the same thing here. And I'm just going to keep adding Ys all over my branch to make it look like it's a real tree. So right here, I might add another Y that comes up towards the top. And the less I touch my paper, the skinnier my lines will be. The more I touch my paper, the more I press down against my paper, the thicker the lines will be. So I'm just going to make a few lines to make my branches look more realistic.